In a world of ever-evolving ideas, it's hard to keep track of what is the new supposed societal normality. For instance, the Western world is always being more inclusive to many different groups. What used to be the standard title for those who don't conform to the heterosexual identity, the LGBT, is now lengthened to the LGBTQIA+, to include those groups that didn't fit into the original combination. Similar things can be said for the Asian American panethnicity, but whether or not that's good for individual Asian Americans is still up for debate. First off, let's talk about panethnicity. What is it? Panethnicity is an umbrella term meant to group together different groups of races and ethnicities based off of their geographical, cultural, and visual similarities. Asian American panethnicity is officially known as AANHPI, which stands for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander. Now you may be thinking to yourself, that seems pretty straightforward, what makes it so complex? Well, Asian American panethnicity does have a very interesting history. On top of this, Asian American panethnicity does question one's identity and individuality. Funny enough, Asian American panethnicity actually came from the Black Empowerment movement. Let's take it back to the date November 6, 1968, San Francisco. A black student union at San Francisco University is striking to establish an ethnic studies department. This effort was joined by Latinos, Chinos, and many different Asian Americans alike. What was it known as? The Third World Liberation Front. This effort caused a massive protest that lasted for over 4 months, making it the longest protest by students at an academic institution in the United States. But this protest didn't go unnoticed. The university clashed with students like it depended on their survival. They sent local police to stop them and shut them down by any means necessary. But in the end, the university caved in and the Ethnic Studies Department was born. The historical significance for this event was not only that it established an ethnic studies department, course, and curriculum, but it also showed the world that Asian American solidarity did exist, and thus Asian American panethnicity was born. It was a powerful tool that united many people from different ethnicities and backgrounds so that they could be heard and fight for what they needed. This tool is also seen being used for those who are LGBTQ. It provides them a safe space where they can be among like-minded people and express their thoughts and feelings safely. It also does give them people that they can relate to and feel heard. That's why many different pride centers exist throughout the US, many of them on college campuses. And it is this idea where Asian American ethnicity seems to falter. The most important aspect about panethnicity is identity, and it can do a lot to one's identity. For one, panethnicity excludes many people who are in fact Asian American. When I ask you to think of a quote-unquote typical Asian person, I guarantee that quite a few of you are going to picture either a Chinese, Korean, or Japanese person. And I don't blame you. Those places are big in terms of its population, economy, and culture. But where those ethnicities are seen, there are many more that are unseen and even forgotten about. A lot of people from Southeast Asia, Russia, India, the Middle East, and Indonesia are usually forgotten when it comes to Asian American identity. This exclusion invalidates their experiences and robs them of those benefits seen in LGBTQ solidarity. Now, on the other side of this, inclusion in Asian American ethnicity can actually strip away one's own ethnic identity. Many examples I see are from Asian Americans who come from smaller countries in Southeast Asia like Myanmar, Bhutan, and Laos.
But first come from Laos.
Huh?
Laos. We Laotian.
The ocean? What ocean?
We are Laotian. From Laos, stupid.
The reason this happens is because Americans who come from those countries are seen in so few numbers. This implies that they're not big enough nor important enough to have their own identity specific to their own home country, so they're forced to be grouped with people who probably don't share many similar experiences. Jumping on that last bit there, panethnicity groups together people who have completely different cultures, experiences, religions, and governments, and the list keeps going on. I'll give you an example. People who are Filipino American, who have a big importance on family, food, and their elders, are not going to be the same as those who are Chinese American or Japanese American. In fact, Filipino Americans have more similarities between Mexican Americans than most other Asian American ethnicities because both countries were conquered by Spain and, to an extent, the United States itself. Now, with all that being said, what can we do about it? Well, it is a hard issue to tackle. There's nothing super groundbreaking that we can do. The most important thing is to be knowledgeable about the issue and know its history and its importance. Another thing that we can do as a society is to have further inclusion. Let those from Southeast Asia, India, and the Middle East feel included in Asian American panethnicities. Let those from smaller countries feel seen and let them have their own identity. And finally, we can just help make this world a much kinder place.